do it. You know? Frickin' do it. Alright, hold on. Audio mixer. Okay. Can you say some things?
Some things.
Oh, dude, perfect. Yeah. No, that's sexy. I love it when you say things. Yeah, we're
I'll
fucking
say
live.
things to you all day long.
Fuck yeah, you will. This is what the people came to see, dude. Mm, mm. That's sexy. I love it when you say things. Yeah, we're
I'll say
fucking live.
things to you all day long.
Fuck yeah, you will.
Wait,
This is what
put
people
this
came to see.
under people and blogs.
That's sexy. I love it when you say
Traveling
things.
events.
Yeah,
I'll say things to you all day long.
fuck yeah, you will.
Wait, put this under people and blogs.
Mm.
Traveling events.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute you for a little bit. I'm gonna start talking, and I'm gonna see if I'm loud enough because for some reason it doesn't sound at the level it should normally sound, which is very bizarre, and I'm not a huge fan of all of that. So I'm gonna mute you real quick. We'll come back to you. We'll go over here. We'll do the thing, the thing, and then we'll hopefully everything will be looking good. What the fuck? That's not the window I wanted to pull up. Oh, jeez. And now I can't see my mouse. Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what you want. I literally can't see my mouse. Who hates me? Somebody hates me. Okay, there we go. I can see my mouse now. That was weird. Super weird. All right. Let's see. I literally can't see my mouse. Okay. And then we're gonna pull you back up. We're gonna unmute you.
Am I working? I think I'm working.
Yeah.
For some reason my camera's not working.
It's working over here. Or wait. Yeah. It's working on Discord.
Right, so that's the thing is I don't know why it's not working on
Your stream?
Yeah.
So, more than likely, your camera can only go to one source at a time.
Oh.
At least that's my camera can only go to one source at one time. I don't know about yours. Who hates me? Somebody hates me. Okay, there we go. I can see my mouse now. That was your stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Okay. I'm so good on my end. Woo! Oh, mute, go to live. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Pull up OBS. Pull up this. Oh, nope. Because we also need to pull up this. Hold on. We also want to pull up that. And we're looking good. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Potentially, actually.
You know, I don't know cuz the last time we streamed together I was using the camera to stream to you and to my stream. It was like working on OBS and I'm just kind of confused here.
Yeah, that is very strange. Got to admit though, my camera cannot go to two different places at once. I know that for a facto Monday.
Well, there we go, because now I'm just screen sharing. I'm just screen sharing you and I.
Yeah, that is very strange. Gotta admit
Figured it out.
Turn the volume off on that. Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah, I probably should go check and see if my if I have any like actual decent audio, but I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out later.
You sound
Can you hear
better
me?
than I do. Yeah, no, I can hear you. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. You actually sound better than I do. Probably because mine sounds really echoey. Yours does not sound perfection.
Yeah, I'm looking at my OBS and it does not show it capturing any audio.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, now I got it. I had to just reset it. So I went from scene 3 to scene 2 so that I could get it to screen share, and that did not have the microphone enabled. So
Okay.
So yeah, what's up?
Dude, living the dream. Half
Yeah,
of those
that's
hours are working, so I don't get to play that. But have you played?
Yeah, I was thinking
those games at all?
No, I have not.
Hmm.
I think I have it wishlisted on Steam.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's gonna be free soon, but right now I think you gotta. I actually have a key I can give to you if you want to play it.
Okay, was it like an MMO?
It's like a Diablo game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so then I presume you have not played the first one. I didn't play the first one either.
No.
I played Torchlight. I was into Torchlight. That was an okay game. Me and my wife played it.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Jump King, and I suck at it, but I just keep playing it because I'm like, got nothing better to do. Nothing else is really like grabbing my interest right now. Like I played a little bit of Stalker 2, and I'm just like, survival games really aren't my jam. And it's like I kind of hate having to do the resource management for not starving to death or dying of thirst and stuff like that.
Right, if it's not your thing, those games are mundo irritato.
Like, if I had somebody to play it with, like we've talked about streaming Outward together.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Like if I had that, it would be like somebody playing that with me. That'd be completely different. But just playing a survival game by yourself. Like I've never even played like any of the Fallout games on survival mode. And it's just like,
Oh yeah, and you can download mods to make it even more of a survival thing. Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, survival games are. They feel like they don't really ever add to the gameplay. It always feels like it takes away. But I suppose they exist mostly for vibes, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's not
like,
that it is a survival game. It feels like a survival game, right? Like it's for the atmosphere.
Right. Like I don't know. I don't have any problem with. I know that there's people out there who like it. They love the added challenge of all that extra resource management. But I'm like, man, I already got to resource manage like a bunch of shit. And
oh yeah. Well,
ammo and.
Yeah, it's like you can't play Ark Survival and also play Conan Exiles. You got to pick one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. So, a lot of stuff going. So, okay, so here's something interesting. Someone brought this up. Tommy was actually telling me this. He said, "Do you think it's interesting that we know more about the CEO killer than we know about the Trump attempted assassinator?"
I'm not sure. Because it almost feels like there's just more to know about the CEO dude. I'm still not 100% convinced it was him. Like I'm not like the. To me, it just seems like it's just too convenient. Like, they catch the guy, he's eating at McDonald's, and if you've seen pictures of that Luigi, I can't say the name Luigi without putting on a shitty fake Italian accent, but he's sitting at McDonald's, and you see the picture of that guy. Does he look like the type of guy who eats McDonald's frequently?
No.
Like, unless he's like, I'm going to jail and I want a Big Mac before I go to prison. Like, unless that's what it was. But like, the dude's like walk around with a 6-pack, probably like less than 15% body fat.
And he just happened to have all the evidence on him too.
Yeah, so like, I look at the picture with the dude in the cab with the mask on, or or like whatever is the Uber. Like, to me, the eyebrows like match perfectly. Like, I'm like, okay, that's the same person. But I don't know, it's just too neat of a bow, and either this guy is incredibly stupid, just carrying all the evidence that he committed this crime with him wherever he went, or he was like basically a patsy. And now they're like, well, what do you need a patsy for? And it's like, well, if people start thinking that they can just easily get away with like blowing away a CEO of like a Fortune 100 company, like UHC is one of the biggest companies in the world, I'm pretty sure. Then if they can't catch that guy, then that's probably gonna make more people think about doing that.
Politicians are next on the list for sure.
Right. They have to find somebody and pin it on him so that more people don't think, oh, well, hey, I can go do this.
Right.
That's the only reason I think they would have a patsy. If they couldn't find the guy who actually did it, they would just pin it on somebody, so they're like, we can't have other people thinking they can get away with this.
Yeah, to me it's like, why does he have the evidence? Why didn't he shave his eyebrows? He put all of this thought into the assassination, the joke bag he left filled with Monopoly money, like everything. And then he goes out like he was intending on getting caught. Yep.
So he's got 2 backpacks, he's got 2 sets of clothing, changes out of and into a second set of clothing that he made sure that he wasn't wearing at all before the assassination. He's got apparently thinking ahead enough to have fake IDs and a passport and a bunch of $8,000 US cash and like $2,000 in foreign currency, which I believe $10,000 is the least amount of cash you can travel with without having to report it to customs.
And then when they ask for identification, he gives them a fake ID that he used at the hostel.
Yes. And the fake ID was the only reason they looked further into him to begin with. It just seems too good to be real.
Right. Like, it's let's make this as obvious as possible, so even the dumbest cop would be like, something fishy is going on here.
Right.
Because they can't let the cop in on it, obviously.
And so even like his reason for doing it, apparently the whole like back injury thing, and then like, but at the same, so like I've heard so many different things, like apparently there's a back injury and it's like insurance, but his parents are wealthy, so why is he worried about medical bills? Like,
apparently his mom was fucked over by the insurance companies, but he comes from like an extremely affluent family.
Right, but he was also apparently fucked over by the insurance companies too.
Yeah.
Because of the back injury thing, and it's like that doesn't make, if you're rich, like those things don't matter.
No, those things do not matter.
I mean, so it's just, a lot of it is just really not super believable.
Yeah,
but
no, very strange, all of it actually.
But yeah. So we've had a couple of like random interesting conversations. Well, short, I guess, not super long, but like the to change the subject a little bit, like the Uncanny Valley and and our discussion the other day, that just utterly pointless conversation about when does middle age start.
Yes.
So that's the type of stupid shit that I like thinking about, like, because I'm pretty like hell bent on, like, I think middle age starts at 35.
35.
Like I don't, yeah, like between 35 and 40. Because I don't think it's a hard and fast thing for each individual.
Okay, and then how long does middle age last?
So like I said, 55-ish, 60-ish.
Okay, and then
But
what
I
comes
don't
after
really.
middle age?
So I think you got like 10 years of just kind of being like, I don't want to say like old, but like you're kind of in like your old and wise years between like 55 and 65.
Mm-hmm.
And once you hit like 65, which is retirement age, you're, I wouldn't say elderly, but you're getting to like the old stages, you know.
Yeah, I could see
But
that.
then like you have like all this like pre-18 is adolescence, and then like you're like weird 18 to 25, you're, you know, kind of a young adult. 25 to 34, you're, you know, sort of like just a regular ass adult, and then 35 you hit middle age. It's just like weird. I don't know. I feel like 40 is cleaner, because then you have like 18 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to like 55,
Right.
you know.
So,
But
the question is, how many stages to life is there?
right.
And then can we break up each stage into different stages as well, right? Like, so it's like, well, your childhood, and then your adolescence, and then your, you know, young adult. How many stages are you a child?
Right.
Multiple stages, right? So there's like sub-stages.
Right.
Presumably. And then,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, from my perspective, it's like, okay, so, geez Louise, from 6 till 12, you're a child. From 6 till 12, you're a child. After that, you become a teenager, and you're a teenager from 13, probably until 20. And I get that teenager is supposed to end in teen, but like, I think about how I was when I was 20 years old, not that far off from when I was 18. Stuff didn't really start changing for me till I was about 21 years old.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the beginning of adulthood. Obviously not in a legal sense. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
just saying the vibes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. And then from there, you know, you're a young adult from 20 till 30. Then you're just a straight up adult from 30 till 40. Then you're middle age from like 40 to 50. And then like 55 is when you start to become the like latter, you know, the beginning stages of being old. And that's kind of,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
So here's the thing: is like with advances in medical science, like, honestly, just having a much leisurely life. Like, you just look at some of the people we work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you guess that like somebody like Waylon is like in his late 50s?
Mm-mm. No, or like someone
Right.
like Steve is retirement age.
Yeah. Whitey is almost, I think Whitey's like 58.
Yeah, no,
Like,
those,
these
those
people-
guys seem 30 to me. 30 and 40.
Right. Well, so they seem like they're like 45 to me.
Yeah.
But I'm 40, so it's a little different. But yeah, like, you know, and until Bob hurt his leg, like he was probably the most active person we work with, and he's like 50, almost 59.
Yeah. I feel like
So that's,
John is maybe the only one who it's like, oh yeah, you're your age, for sure.
yeah. Well, he's in his 70s, and he's been working there longer than most of the people we work with have been alive.
Yeah.
It's just insane to me. But like, so that's why I kind of say like 35 to like 55 is middle age. And then like from 55 to 65, you kind of have like that like no man's land, because you know, when I was a kid, 60 was old. Like my grandma, I think was 55ish when I was born. Let me
Right.
think about that. She was 50 when I was born. Because I think she was born in 34. So by the time I was old enough to remember at like 5 or 6 years old, my grandma was 55, 56 years old. And she was old. Like I remember being a kid and my grandma was already old. My mom is 63, and to me, she seems younger than my grandma did when she was like 55.
Hmm.
So it's weird, as things have gone on, people just seem to kind of be younger. And I think that's why, like, for like our grandparents, yeah, 40, you had 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and then 60 until you died. But now it's like, man, that's kind of getting pushed back. Like people are living longer, people are active longer in their life. So a lot of people are active until they're, in their early 70s, before they really, 65 when they really start to slow down.
Yeah. And so
But
I've got like a screwed up perception of things because my grandparents on my dad's side are extremely young to be the parents of my dad because my dad was adopted, right? So they look incredibly young. And then my dad also looks incredibly young. Like my dad does not look like he's the age that he is. My mom, on the other
yeah.
hand, she does. I love my mom to death, but she looks like the age that she is. And that has more to do with the fact that she had like 3 kids, and she didn't just have 3 kids, right? Like everyone's like, oh, 3 kids, that's average. She had a kid when she was in her, I want to say like late 30s. That's rough on your body. Late 30s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's, forget about it, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, my dad's like 71.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had dinner with him like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago for my birthday. And he like I still like I look I'm like, okay, you look like you're getting up there, but I still like it's like I don't think he looks like he's 71. Like he doesn't look that age to me.
Right.
My mom is 65, 66.
Yeah.
And even she, I don't think she seems like to me. If I would probably say, she looks like she's 60, which is still 60, but it's not 65 or 66. She doesn't look that age, and that's just weird. Like to think about people 30 years ago just looked older, just plain and simple.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I also think that if you look at people say it's fashion, but I don't think it's fashion. Like, I think there are like certain looks that people have throughout different generations, and our generation is just younger looking. Because if you look at the next generation of kids coming up, they don't look young like we do. Like, we like look baby-faced, actually. Our generation does. Our whole fucking generation does. It's not just you and me. There's a reason I got the beard on, because if I don't have the beard on, I look like I'm a fucking child. 2 words that should not go together. But from what I've experienced and from what I've seen from other people, it seems like that's kind of like a theme, Maybe I'm wrong, but like
Yeah, I don't.
Tommy doesn't look like he's 40. He looks like he's in his 30s.
Oh, you just froze up on my screen.
I see that. I'm trying to fix it. Hold on, I might have to leave and come back. Oh, that's because... Did something bump my camera?
Oh, there you are. You're moving again.
Hold on. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. That was weird.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another thing too, is like people, for some reason, like, it's like I got 3 older brothers. My oldest brother is going to be 50, not this year, not 2025, but 2026. He'll be 50. And it's like, I look at him and I'm like, you look like you're 40. Like, and then I think all of us, I would say, look 10 years younger than what we actually are minimum.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of like for some reason people born between the mid 70s and the late 80s just don't look. Sorry, my kid's being awfully quiet, so I was like, what's going on? Is he getting into
What's he
something? But no.
scheming? What's he getting into?
He's just zoned into his tablet, that's all. But
Gotta be scheming.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know, the whole middle age thing and the whole reason why this came up, why I specifically asked you that the other day was watching a video on YouTube and the guy is
Hold on. Hold on, my headphones are being weird. Are you alive still? Okay, hold on. How about now? What the actual... So Discord's fucking up on me. Hold the phone. This happens like every time. So what happens is Discord decides to switch around where the audio is coming from. I'm not sure why. But it will do it randomly and it fucks everything up. Headphone. There we go. I'll be right back. Hey.
I can hear you just fine.
And I can hear you now too.
Oh, your screen froze again though.
I'm seeing that.
Okay, no, now you're good again.
There we go. Look at that. Technical difficulties. We'll get through it though.
Right. So anyway, so in the video the guy says that the people who tend to get sucked into these these female fitness influencers like scams essentially are, and he says older women between 30 and 40. And so the dude is 27.
Yeah.
So I'm like naturally like, okay, older. Is anybody older than him? Like that's how I saw it. He was just talking about women who are older than him. But somebody in the comment section's like, I can't stand this way of thinking. To him, older women are in their 30s or 40s. And somebody was like, yeah, you're an old woman at 30. Or didn't say it that way, but they were like, you stop being a young woman at 30 and or a young man or woman at 30. And I was just like, yeah, I kind of feel like it's more like 34, but sure. Like I can see that point of view.
So with women, I think it's different only because there's like a biological clock at play. So that inherently affects how they're perceived. And also like they mature faster than men too. I'm not saying that
That's
to
a
be
bunch
weird.
of gobbledygook.
Well, I felt like, well, no, to
Women,
be fair,
women,
everyone was more mature than I was.
women physically mature faster than men.
You
That
don't think
shit
they
that
mentally mature faster?
no, in fact, I think they might mentally mature slower.
So
Up until like 13, maybe they mature faster. Like they get out of like adolescence into teenage, but I think it takes them longer to get from teenage to adult.
okay, yeah, no, I actually agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I think the reason that people say women mature faster than men is because they're just built for a more scholarly environment than men are.
Right.
So maturity for everybody is based on who shuts the fuck up while they're teaching in school. That's how they base maturity. And just inherently men and boys, sorry, specifically boys have issues shutting the fuck up in school. You know, because it's an environment that's not built for them, you know. So
yeah, when they used to have like hour-long physical education classes right away in the morning, and the boys were allowed to just run all that shit off,
Mm-hmm.
then I think boys did better in school. But now that it's just a sit down and study environment, I don't think. And I think that's fairly well been proven.
Yeah, and so I think what's happening, everyone's like, school is for learning. It's like, no, no, no. School is preparing you for what life is going to be. And life is going to be sitting at an office chair forever. And that's what school is. You're sitting at a chair and you're studying information, which is what most office work is. Most office work is, hey, I need you to write out this Excel sheet. I need you to follow these instructions very carefully. I need you to know how Excel works. I need you to use that in collaboration with other people. And women are built for that. They're literally built for that type of work. So we're not like slaves. We're not worked to the bone. But my wife looks at the stuff that we do and she's like, I could never do that. And
yeah, I've had people tell. My brother Nate has told me that before, and I'm like, dude, like, they could train a monkey to do what I do.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's more of a mental game than it is anything else. Yeah, no, my wife is like, I can't imagine waking up, going to work, and then just doing that. Like, she can't even understand working like 7 days in a row. She's like, I don't need, and working 7 days in a row inevitably leads to more than 7 days in a row. But you know what I'm saying. Which I'm more built for that kind of stuff. I'm really, if you can give me something to listen to and keep my mind occupied, I can do whatever you need me to do for as long as you need me to do it. Which is why I didn't do well in school, because my mind was never occupied, right? Oftentimes what would happen is they would start droning on about stuff I didn't care about, and I have to sit there and listen. But instead of listening, I'm looking at all my classmates and I'm seeing what they're doing, and then I'm looking at the page and I'm feeling how the page feels in my hand, and before I know it, I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. And when you're teaching, you're building information on top of more information. So if I didn't understand the foundational information that they're teaching us, then I'm not understanding the rest of it. And that's kind of what school was like for me. Not that I have a whole lot of experience sitting down in a classroom, which I really do not. Yeah. I had half of 2 years. I came in the middle of the year for half a year, and then I stayed for the beginning of a year for half a year. So a total of a year where I was in a classroom, and it did not go well.
Yeah, so I actually failed school for a completely different reason. Not saying that I would like great at paying attention, but like, it didn't take much for me to remember things. So I did really well on tests, but I just didn't want to do the daily work.
Yeah, and so school, again, it's not actually about the learning. School is about we're preparing you for what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. And for the rest of your life, you're going to be following instructions, and they're going to be super tedious. And you have to retain information. Yeah.
And I hate busy work. Like, to this day. Like, that was one of my biggest issues at work with the he who shall not be named, I don't know, Russell. Was he like to give up busy work.
Yeah. And
I'm like, hey, this doesn't need to be done. Like, you don't need to give us these stupid, tedious tasks every single day. Like, once in a while is fine, but it's like, I shouldn't, like, your idea that, like, you have to be doing something for every second of the 12 hours that you're here. Like, we've got enough stuff to do. You're doing all your rounds, you're doing your tests, you're offloading your chemicals, blah, 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 blah. You're generally doing something, I would say, for the most part, 8 to 9 hours of the day. You're doing something pertaining to work. Yeah, there downtime, sure. But the idea that you should never, ever, ever have downtime is just silly to me. I mean, unless you're in like a highly like where downtime is the business losing money, which is the exact opposite with us. Downtime is the business making money. Like, if we're up working our asses off, generally the place is losing money.
Right. So that's a good point, and it's the reason why I won't switch departments to like the printing machines, because I am done with factory work. I'm not doing factory work anymore. I did my time with factory work, and factory work is gay. There's no other way
Well,
around it.
the funny thing is years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I worked for Service Master, and I cleaned the coops up at the #1 paper machine.
Yeah.
And that was where I learned that those guys, I would, just kind of friendly, like, oh, you guys sitting in here with your feet up, looks real nice to work here. And they'd always be like, hey, if we're out there working, this place is losing money. This is exactly where they want me to be. And I was like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but at the same time, that really makes a lot of sense. Like,
Well, the way that I describe it to people, it's like, what do you do? Well, so I do tests, but for the most part, I'm just like a really like overpaid security guard.
yeah, more like an overpaid, um, you're like an overpaid, yeah. Oh, here, I'm gonna fail at opening a thing of goldfish. Wait, this thing's got like a little tear here strip, doesn't it? Oh, there we go. All right, there you go, Booger. What are you looking at? You say hi to Gabe?
Yo, what's up?
He took his goldfish and ran. It's like a really overpaid, part-time, troubleshooter.
Yeah. And so they pay us under the assumption that when stuff goes down, we're gonna be getting it up as soon as possible.
Right. And so that's why our job title is actually laborer. Like,
Yeah.
we have those individual titles in the contract for like pay scale, but all of us fall under the blanket of laborer because our job description is whatever the fuck they want it to be.
Yep.
Which is fine by me. I make damn good money doing what I do. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to cry about it.
And we're gonna try and make even more money with this new contract. Come on, baby.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Even a little bit. Just a little bit would be nice.
Yep. You know, and who was it that said it? I think I want to say either Steve or Waylon said it. It's like, get used to your coworkers, because you are going to spend more time with them than you are with your wife.
Oh, so Christina and I have had this conversation. So if things continue the way they have been, by the time she's a bleach operator, I basically will end up a full-time cook, and we probably will end up in that control room together, probably for like the better part of a decade.
Wow.
And like we get along just fine, so it's not really a problem. But like, we joke around a lot of, oh, Jesus Christ, that's gonna suck. Like, I hate you, that type of thing. But but it's like, when you think about it, like, by the time things have been moving kind of quick right now, because we got a lot of people aging out, a lot of people retiring. We've had some people leave the department, a few people get fired, So people have moved up really quickly. But realistically, like, what is it? Bob told me he was in the control room as a cook, and Russell was the bleach operator, and he said it was like 10 years or 8 years they sat in there together.
Yep.
But
there's a chance I'll never be a PMO, and if I am, it'll be like for like only like 2 years.
Yeah. So, well, you'll be trained, because they train that with the bleach
I'll be trained. Oh, obviously I will be trained, right? But it
as
like
whether it's
position.
Right. But you'll still get that pay.
Yes, I will. Yep. It's kind of funny, because it's like, me and Christina have talked about this. I'm like, we're gonna be the last ones. You know that, right? It's gonna be us with a bunch of new people.
Right. You guys will be the Javi and Doug of the of like the class of like 2050 or something like that.
It's gonna be crazy. And
I just hope I'm still alive.
If someone wants to be a John, they can be a John too. So maybe they'll be us.
I hate to say that, but that might be me, because I suck so bad with money. I'll have to work there till I'm 75. So 2050, I'll be 66. So it's 2024, it's 26 years from now, I'll be 66. So I won't even be at retirement age in 2050.
Jeez, don't talk about this. This is.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
should we change the subject and talk about our uncanny valley?
Yeah.
Our short.
Uncanny Valley. Here we go.
So, like you said, I kind of agree with you. I actually agree with, like, I don't know, maybe this would be fence sitting 101, but like I kind of agree with both sides. Like you were saying, like it's so that we recognize people who had
Do you want to give like
deformities.
a quick breakdown and then
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
out the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
theories?
yeah. No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So Uncanny Valley, it's a term that came along, I think, when they first started to like get into like computer graphics, like computerization. I don't know, maybe it's older than that, but it's this fear that humans innately have towards things that look almost human. Okay.
Yep.
And the theory that a lot of people have thrown around, because it's a fun theory, right? People love fun theories. So the fun theory that people throw around is this: well, the reason that fear is innate in all of us is because there were a humanoid species that was hunting prehistoric man, and that's why we're afraid of things that look almost human. That's the fun little theory. Do you think I gave a quick rundown of that?
I think that's good enough.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and so I do have to say it. I think one of the first, and so like I'm sure I experienced it before this, but one of the first times I really experienced it was the I'm not gonna think of the name of it. The that old school like YouTube, was it called like I Feel Happy or whatever?
Yeah, the fireplace in the
Or
background.
with like it's like a doll basically,
Yep.
that's like, yeah, that I think was one of the first times I remember seeing something that I was like, okay, this really gives me the uncanny valley vibe.
The ick.
But um I am kind of the same opinion that you are, and of the theory, like I kind of feel like it was a way for early man to recognize people who were potentially like diseased or had like congenital
Deformities.
defects. Yep. And but also was like, okay, so what did they oh my god, I can't think what the hell they're called. The other like major hominid that everybody always talks about.
Neanderthals.
Yeah, yeah.
Neanderthals, but
So
Neanderthals, yeah.
like that might be, it might be something like that, but at the same time it was like, I think it's pretty conclusive that we hunted each other.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was, and there was a lot of interbreeding going on too, so it's like that doesn't really,
I have
like,
Neanderthal in me. Look at
I'm pretty
that.
sure I do too. I got a pretty pronounced brow ridge, so that, of course, that could also just be because I'm Polish.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna run just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. No. So the reason I know I have Neanderthal in me is because I'm fucking retarded. No, I'm playing. My mom did one of those DNA tests, and it turns out we've got Neanderthal in me. But anyway, so it's like, it's a fun theory to think that there was like this humanoid creature that was hunting us, or maybe it was like an alien species that kind of looked like us, right? And we were afraid of it. That's fun. But I really think that fear comes from this preventative measure that nature took in our evolution to prevent us from breeding with people who had disabilities and deformities. Because a great way to know if someone has mutations that are undesirable is just looking at their face, right? So that's my theory. I don't subscribe to this idea that there was like a humanoid species that was hunting us. As cute and fun as that is to play around with, I don't think it's true. But, you know, maybe it is. You know, who knows? It'd be fun if it was, right? It'd be super fun if there was like this like alien creature that was like hunting us in prehistoric times.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's kind of cooled off in my apartment, so I needed a t-shirt, and my lips are really chapped.
Chapped lips.
Chapped lips. Because, you know, it's wonderfully dry out because it's frickin' negative 400 degrees outside.
Never have I been surrounded by so much water and been so dehydrated. What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be cold. Ugh, I don't want to work Thursday night. Why did I volunteer?
Oh,
It's supposed to be.
This is my favorite thing. when it's like, oh man, I really need money. I need money. It's like, you could take a day from me. I don't need money that bad.
Right. So I need money, so that's why I'm volunteering. But I just like, I think when I volunteered for next Thursday, it said it was supposed to be like 30 or 31 degrees out. And now it's supposed to be like -5. And I'm like,
Oh, that's gross. Ugh, gross.
but so anyway, yeah. So like I kind of am of the opinion that it was like one of the two different, or it's a combination of the two different things. Like
And there were obviously other prehistoric humanoids.
yeah.
existed.
Well, and it's the same kind general concept as why we experience pareidolia.
What's pareidolia?
Like,
Break that down.
That's
for
when
me.
that's when you see faces in things that don't have faces.
Hmm.
That's why we can look at a rock formation and be like, "Oh, that looks like a face," or people see Jesus on a tortilla or a piece of toast. It's just all different pareidolia.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it's called.
Do you think we suffer from pareidolia because we're very empathetic creatures?
So I think part of it is that recognizing faces is extremely important when there are predators around.
Yeah. Okay. Being able to distinguish friend from foe.
Yeah, well, that and like a lot of like big cats are very well camouflaged,
Yeah.
and they're it's kind of, if a lion is standing in a tall bunch of brown grass, it might be hard to see them, but you can see their face. Also, at the same time, if you have a rival tribe of Homo sapiens who are hunting your tribe, clan, whatever, and they're very good at camouflage, they're all painted up with mud and sticks and stuff like that, being able to see their eyes and their nose and their mouth when they're like hidden in a, have you ever seen the movie Predator?
Seeing a false positive is better than not seeing the
Yes.
positive
Yeah.
when it okay, I see. I have not seen Predator. I know what Predator. Oh no, I've seen the first Predator. Yeah. I've seen that.
So you know the part when Arnie's in the mud and like he opens his eyes and all you can see is basically his eyes, his nostrils, and his mouth or his teeth or whatever. That's kind of what I was getting at with like somebody's camouflaged really well with mud and sticks and grass and stuff like that, and that's all that you can make out is like eyes and teeth and nose. So yeah, it's just better to have a false positive than potentially like overlook something.
Yeah, that would result in everybody dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely tracks. That makes sense. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and look at us. We went from being afraid of everything to everything being afraid of us. Look at how far.
Yeah.
We've come. I love it.
Yeah, and it is crazy how many things just have a natural fear of humans.
Yeah.
I mean, so there are very, very few animals out there that don't just like either instinctually avoid us or can be around us without like wanting to run away. And I think it's like grizzly bears, lions, and like tigers. I think pretty much everything else will avoid us, either like try to sneak past us to get what we've got, or it will try to just like run away if we're in the area.
Yep.
Like, and wolves won't necessarily run away, but they'll try to remain hidden. Coyotes won't try to run away necessarily, but they'll really try to remain hidden. Black bears tend to run away and remain hidden.
And we're not really on anybody's menu either.
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while you get something that goes a little cuckoo, like a tiger or whatever. And tigers are crazy ass animals.
Dude, they're
like
scary.
Tigers have been like recorded in like taking revenge.
Yeah.
It's the most insane thing in the world to me.
My favorite thing is, I guess in parts of India, they wear masks on the back of their heads because the tiger will be less likely to attack you if it thinks that you see it.
It's the same reason why tigers have white spots on the back of their ears. It's to keep other tigers from attacking them.
No way, really?
Yeah. Either that or there was something else in Asia back, 10, 15,000 years ago that was hunting tigers, which is terrifying to think about.
Probably true,
but,
though, yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't know like if more information, and this was like within the last year or two, that the masks have stopped working.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
terrifying.
the tigers have figured out which side is the real face and which side is a mask.
Eventually, it would adapt to find that out, and that just makes
Yeah.
makes sense. A trick is only going to last for so long. You got to come up with a new trick now.
So have you ever heard the story about the female tiger who like stalked the guy in Siberia over
No.
like the course of like 2 weeks?
No.
So I probably tell the story completely wrong, but I would have to look it up, and this may be like completely just a bullshit made up story, but I don't really want
Those
to
are
pull
my
my phone out.
favorites.
So apparently there was this guy who was a hunter, and I don't know if he was a poacher or what, but he killed a Siberian tiger cub
Hmm.
and wounded the mother.
That's a big
And
no.
the mother got away and followed him back to his little hut in the woods and would like stalk him. And like when he would be sitting in his cabin where he could see out, she would walk out down like the trail, the driveway, whatever that led away from the front of his cabin.
Yeah.
And by the time he would get out there, she'd be gone. Apparently, like killed his dog, killed like a couple of his like feed livestock. Would like creep around the house at night while he was sleeping and like scratch the walls of the cabin. Did all this shit, like basically engaged in like psychological warfare with this guy until eventually like he tried to leave and the cat killed him and ate him. Again, could be utter bullshit and I could be getting a lot of stuff wrong, but I think that was like basically the gist of it.
Yeah.
And I've heard this story a couple times, so I'm pretty sure it's at least like somewhat rooted in truth. But yeah, there's been a couple of recorded instances of tigers like actually taking revenge on humans who have injured them.
That's crazy. So I do want to continue on with this conversation, but you saying, hey, I have a story to tell reminded me of a story I learned about, and you've probably heard this before. It was a Viking clan, and they had made a raid on a church, and they took this artifact. It was like a vase, and one of the Viking clan's leader, we'll call him Eric. Eric fell in love with a Christian woman, and she wanted that vase returned back because it was like a Christian artifact. And so Vikings, some of the tribes, some of the clans that they had, the way that it worked is you had your own property, right? Like you could have things that were yours. Just because there was a leader of the clan didn't mean that he owned everything you owned, which is different from a lot of different types of tribal, political atmospheres, right? So anyway, this leader of this clan goes to the guy who owns the vase, and he said, hey man, you need to give me that vase. I really want that vase. And then the dude's like, you can't have it. And they argued and they fought. And then, to prove a point, the guy broke the vase, and he looked up at the leader and he said, what's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine. And I was like, whoa, right? Well, anyway, they're in preparation for a new raid, and they're getting ready to invade this little town and take everything, take the women, take the children, take the frickin' slaves, the gold, all of it, right? And in preparation, everyone's lining up, and the leader of the clan is going by person to person to make sure everything is suited up and that they're ready to battle. And then when he got to the guy who broke the vase, he said, what's wrong with your sandal? And the guy bent over to look at his sandal, and then he took a battle axe and just like crushed the dude's skull. And he looked at his frail, dead, limp body, and he said, what's yours is yours, but you are mine. And it's like, oh, that is badass as fuck. What's yours is yours, but you are mine. Oh, dude, that is hardcore, right?
That sounds like some anime fucking antagonist type shit right there. Like,
apparently, it's like a famous poem.
huh?
Yeah, it's I'm listening to this book on tape, The Wealth and Poverty of Nations, and they're talking about property. And as a little tangent, he brings up that story that supposedly a bunch of kids learn. It's a poem. So, what yours is yours, but you are mine. Jeez, dude, I'm surprised I haven't seen that in any of like the medieval dramas that they have going on all the time.
No, like I'm serious. I'm surprised we haven't seen that in like an anime.
Oh,
Like that sounds like some anime villain shit right
it
there.
does, doesn't it? Yeah, that fucking
Like
kick ass.
sounds like something that would happen to like the protagonist in the first episode or two, and then the guy eventually like builds himself up and then comes back and beats the,
Yeah.
beats him and says something back like, "What's yours is yours, but I'm no longer yours," and then just leaves or something fucking,
Right.
equally cringy as that,
Yeah. Yeah. What's yours is yours, but you are mine. Oof. Dude, fucking that shit like that could happen back in the day. Like back in the day, if somebody didn't like you and you were bigger than them, you could just kill them.
Right. Well, and that's like, so I will die on the hill of an armed society as a polite society,
Yeah.
because like especially nowadays, like because guns are the great equalizer, and granted, like, hold on, these like you look at things like where things were lawless, like out in the Wild West, there just wasn't enough like government, or there wasn't enough like really like control. You got 2 purple gumballs, buddy? You need more? Well, I don't have any more. I got 2 red ones. Well, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I mean, your gumball machine is full. I don't want to open another bag just so you can have purple gumballs. Sorry.
The purple ones are the best tasting ones.
I don't know. These are supposed to be fruit flavored double bubble gum balls, and I'm just like, the purple ones don't taste grape enough for me. They're like, I like artificial grape flavor.
Yeah, me too.
Like
If
grape.
it don't taste like cough medicine, I don't want it.
Right, like so the grape flavored Jolly Ranchers. They're like the best, like glub 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 glub. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of crazy shit that happened. As I was saying, like the Wild West, like basically everybody was armed, but people were still assholes to each other. So like you could say, oh well, yeah, that armed society is a polite society is bullshit. But it's like, yeah, but there was no law out there. Like there was like
law. You need law.
there's no respect for human life, and there's no one to like be like, hey, you can't just shoot a guy because he fucking he beat you in cards, so you shot him and stole his money. Like that's not how the world works. But like if you have law enforcement, like yeah, you can absolutely have like a polite armed society. Like people aren't just gonna start throwing fists or like trying to fucking rob the local 7-Eleven if they know half the people are carrying.
Yeah. No, a polite society. So it's the great equalizer is the way that I like to look at it.
Yeah.
And I think that a polite society is also a watched society, too. I think it also helps that there's like back in the day, you could kill someone, you could sign your name on their forehead, and they're not gonna find you. They'll know your name, they'll know your family, they'll never find you, right? But now we live in a society where you kill someone and nobody even knows your fucking name, and they catch you a couple days later.
Right. And in some ways, like, okay, so I'm 100% in like support of private property having security cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not a big fan of like the surveillance state. Like
Neither am I. No, of course not.
but at the same time, like a lot of people are caught just simply because of private security cameras.
It's a great deterrent. It's a great deterrent for sure.
I've got one on the front of my house. Plus, I've got several pew-pews.
If people know they're gonna get caught, the majority of society is less likely to engage in that behavior.
Yeah. It's weird. So I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this. So we live in a very, very small town. And you would think living in a small town, like it would be very easy to get away with a lot of shit. But I want to say the last 10 years, 3 or 4 people who have committed like major crimes, or shouldn't you say people, 3 or 4 like major crimes have been committed in like the Twin Cities area, and they have come north to try and hide, and they've all gotten caught in or around this area.
Small towns are the worst place to go. So I remember I was talking to
Okay.
our coworker Tommy, and someone got caught selling meth. I guess they pulled over a car like right in front of my house, and the car was filled with meth, money, maybe even guns. And I remember I looked at Tommy, and I was like, "Why the fuck are they here?" He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "You can get away with that shit in the cities, but here, it's too small. There's nowhere to hide." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you can disappear in the city. You could live in the city, disappear for years, and nobody would know. Nobody would
Yeah.
know.
So if you're gonna do that shit here, you have to keep an extremely low profile, and you have to be extremely careful. Like, no no breaking stupid traffic laws.
Attributes meth heads are known for.
Right. Yeah. So it's basically everybody that I know who sold that shit got busted. I
Yeah.
think one person, no, sorry, 2 people that I know of who sold any, I wouldn't say large quantities, but they were selling a bit,
Yeah.
that didn't get caught, and both of them quit. One of them moved away, the other one stayed here and just cleaned his shit up.
Yeah.
Got sober, all that. But there's 2 people that I know, specifically with meth, who were dealing or moving it for other people, who didn't get caught. Every fucking single other person I know who was doing that shit got busted.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I feel like they're gonna throw the book at you a lot more in a smaller county than they are in the city, because it's like,
Actually, just about every single one of those people avoided jail time by going to drug court.
oh, okay, well, yeah, that's also a thing you can do in the city too, though. To be
Right.
fair.
So, I'm trying to think. Like, I know. Actually, I don't think any of them are in jail right now or prison. I think most of them got like county jail time and then drug court, probation, things like that. But I mean, I think a lot of them also got sober, which is good. Like,
Yeah.
people do deserve a second chance. Like,
Oh yeah. I
whatever.
agree with that. Yeah, that's.
But yeah, it is pretty stupid to try and be driving through this town with a bunch of money and a bunch of drugs and trying to move like weight. Like, that's just
Yeah.
stupid.
To put things in perspective, my first day here, I got pulled over by the cops, and they wanted to know what I was up to.
You want to know something funny? And I should really knock on wood about this. It has been, oh my god, I think I've had a cop stop and talk to me once in the last 10 years, I think.
Hell yeah, no, that's good.
And what it was is I was driving my mom's boyfriend's truck, and it had like a faulty wire in the dashboard to where if you hit a bump just right, the headlights would shut off. And so the cop came up and he's like, your headlights are off. Like, because I had like pulled over and stopped and was sitting on the side of the road
Yeah.
and like texting or something like that. And he like pulls up, doesn't even turn his cherries on, just walks up, and I'm like, hey, he's like, you were driving without your headlight. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this stupid truck, and I like rocked the thing a couple times, and I like punched the dashboard, and the headlights came on. I said, there's something wrong. I said, it's not even my truck. And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, well, whoever owns it, just tell him to get it fixed. And I was like, will do. And then I think literally the next day, my brother and I were driving out to our hunting shack, and the fucking gas tank fell out of that truck. It was just a piece of shit. Anyway.
So I've been pulled over quite a few times living here because I like to live dangerously. No, because I'm not breaking the law anymore. I drive the speed limit. I drive over the speed limit. So every time it's been pulled over for speeding, and every time I've gotten away with it. Every time. The first time it was like, hey man, I am moving my entire life up to International Falls. we've been driving for 14 hours at this point. And he's like, okay, you guys were going 70 and it's like 40. You need to chill. And I was like, okay. And then the next time I got pulled over, it was when it goes from a 40 to a 30 over by Super 1, or what used to be Super 1. The dude was weird, but he let me off with a warning. And then the next time I got pulled over, it's because we were coming home from the airport. And I was like, yeah, man, I was just in Hawaii. I work tomorrow night, and I'm just trying to get home and sleep. I drove in from the cities, and we've been on an airplane all day. And he's like, okay, just like follow the speed limit. In the cities, specifically where I was living, if you got pulled over, you were getting a ticket.
Right.
You weren't getting away with it. You were getting a ticket.
Around here, it really depends. Like, if you get pulled over by a city cop or a county sheriff, chances are you're going to get a warning. Mm-hmm. Unless it's, like, real egregious. But if you get pulled over by a state trooper, it's almost guaranteed a ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, good times, good times. I actually like living in a small town. I had some friends, I had some family members move up here, and I'm like, I don't know, guys. You can't get away with hood rat shit up here. You can do hood rat shit in the cities. You cannot do that here. Because everybody knows everybody. In the city, you can run into someone. You can have a full-on conversation with them. You can find out where they live, and you'll probably never see them again. Meanwhile, here, you don't even see the person, and they've probably seen you 3 or 4 times. Like a mountain lion stalking its prey.
I like living here just because it's relatively safe.
Oh yeah, no, it's super safe here. Like, I can start my car out in the parking lot and leave it running. What?
Right. We work with people who literally never take the keys out of the ignition of their vehicle. Go to the grocery store.
We work with people who literally leave their keys in the car.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. They never take their keys out of the ignition of their vehicle. So during the summer, my keys are in my truck while we're at work.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
But during the winter, I take them in with me so I can remote start.
So I keep my keys with me no matter what. And I don't like other people starting my vehicle because I'm paranoid and I feel like they'll start it wrong and they'll come to me and they're like, Gabe, it wouldn't start. And then I'm like, fuck.
Hey, I've had fucking Miles. Oh, your truck's dead. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. And it's like, dude, it's like, you are the worst, like, practical joker in the world, and you couldn't lie to save your life, man. Actually, I take that back. So, you were my relief basically all week last week, right? On my 4 days.
Yep.
So remember I was telling you about how the frickin' surge bin kept hanging up.
Yep.
I had to go up and pound it with a sledgehammer. I can't remember what the hell day it was, Tuesday or Wednesday. He frickin' calls me right at the end of the day. It was like 5 o'clock. Actually, I think it was Thursday because we had that stupid lockout right at the end of the day.
Yep, number 2 digester probably.
Yep. And I just spent like an hour and a half blowing down 5th floor. And I was fucking pissed because it was just dusty and the belt was just shit and it was wet, cold, frosty frickin' shit, and I was mad. And I was coming down and it was already like 10 minutes after 5. And he calls me on the radio and he's like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm just getting to 1st floor to, come over and run my 5 o'clock. Well, I need you to go back up to 6th and hit that surge bin again." And I was like, God. And I was like a good 30-second pause before I came back in the room. I'm like, 10-4, I'm going to go put my Freenus samples down. And he's like, "No, I'm just messing with you. You want your truck started?" And I was like, "Oh, you cocksucker. We're going to fight the next time I see you." It was like so good, but I was so mad at the same time. Like, it was so perfectly like,
yeah.
Didn't sound like he was joking at all, which is uncharacteristic for Miles. Like, it was like the perfect shit talk. I actually should probably get going, dude. It's like 7:45 and I got to get my kid ready for bed.
Totally, I feel ya. We'll talk again, maybe tomorrow if you got time.
Yeah. So I'll be staying up because I go on nights on Thursday out at the reclaims. So okay. I'll be up most of the night. You got to work on Thursday, but
I do. What are you doing Sunday? Oh, I have to work Sunday night. What are you doing
yeah,
Saturday?
working.
Friday.
Working.
Lovely. I'm
Yeah,
working Friday too, actually.
I'm on nights starting Thursday through Monday.
Oh, okay, so...
And then hopefully nothing stupid happens and I wind up working Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because they fire somebody or something stupid like that, because I'm going to be incredibly fucking pissed off if that happens.
Yeah, so someone is definitely not on the schedule anymore.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, doesn't mean he's fired. They're just waiting for the test result to come back.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's just it. Is if I end up fucking forced in on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I'm gonna be fucking pissed off because, I have not been able to spend Christmas Day with my son since I started working.
Oh, that's fucked up. That is fucked up.
So, but anyway, I'm gonna get going so I can get him to bed.
All right, bet it up.
All right, talk to you later, man.
Yep, deuces. Alright, I'm gonna just die.
Sending a Semtex.
Hell yeah. No, get out of here! No! Why you gotta do me like that? Oh wow, I was so close to unlocking it. Okay, so unlock critical kills rapidly 15 times. Okay. Oh, okay, that should be easy. All right, I think we're done streaming for now, guys. Y'all have a awesome rest of